of owning a cafe and other heroic deeds by Beware the Tistero. Chapter 114, A New Home and a Fresh Start. Walking into the Sanctuary Heights block, Shouta was expecting some fuss. Shoni! However, the second he walked through those reinforced glass doors, he was almost bowled over by the tots as they rushed him, their arms squeezing at his middle and his legs. You're so fucking manly out there! The Get That Special was just as I imagined it! We're so proud of you! Did you say something cool when you downed him? Oh, what was it? What was it? Are you okay? That scorpion lady punched you pretty hard. Oh, come over here and sit down. You gotta be tired, right?
We save you some lemonade, kiddo.
You gotta teach us that aerial takedown, senpai. It was amazing. Chuckling, he allowed his study group, his kids, to pull him over to the sofas where everyone else, including the younger Todorokis, were waiting for him, all of them sporting fond smiles and relief with the exception of his oldest ward, who was up and approaching him, his body lightly trembling. Come here, you crazy not-so guy. When he intercepted him, those turquoise eyes red-rimmed, the kids pulled back to allow them an embrace that they both sagged into. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't... Hey, come on now. We did this together. I'm so proud of you. He breathed into the other's ear as he felt him quake, his own body filled with sympathy. God, it must have been such a relief for him to know that his sister and brothers were alive, that they were safe, that they were free now. Free to become whoever they wanted to be without NG's toxic influence smothering them. You've come so far, Dobby, and they're going to thrive under your guidance, you know. He grinned, the other trying to stifle a sob. I'll be honored if you'd introduce me to them properly, too, if you'd feel up to it. He furthered as they reluctantly pulled away, his hand moving on instinct to brush a tear away from the darkened patch of skin beneath the other's red eye. Nothing would make me happier right now, the younger man admitted, his left hand reaching for his, their fingers easily interlacing, as they approached Ray, who was sat with her brood gathered around her, their eyes looking to him in wonder. Wow, they were so much like their oldest brother and mother. Guys, this is my guardian, and one of the best people I've ever known. Tomer and I, we started calling him Gut Dad, but he's our true dad, through and through, young as he is, the 18-year-old began as they stood side by side before them. Sure, this is Fuyumi, Natsuo, and Shoto, he smiled. They were my first family, and you helped me to find a second, so... Now, if the three of you want, we can merge the two together, he offered. We'd like that, wouldn't we? He asked him, his smile the most beautiful yet broken thing he'd ever seen. God, his heart! Yes, he returned wholeheartedly, his dark eyes then looking from him to each child in turn. You're all more than welcome. You'll find no shortage of brothers and sisters regardless, you know. He chuckled, the other kids nodding while Satoshi, Izuku, Katsuki, and Dojako huddled around his and Davi's legs. He couldn't believe they were here, that they were together with their mother, and... I'd like to call you Shoni, too, if that's okay? Blinking, it was Fuyumi who made the first move, her body slipping off of the sofa, her beautiful eyes locked with his. Well, of course, he told her, his tone fond. I'd like that very much. He sighed, his mouth closing as she rushed forward and clung to him, her face pressed in his gi, whilst he wrapped his arms around her shaking shoulders. Thank you. Thank you for saving him. For saving Mom. For saving us. She breathed into the teal fabric he wore. And I really, really want to meet all of your kitties, too. Oh, well, we've been telling them all about you. They're going to love you, Fuyumi, he told her gently, his eyes widening a little when Natsuo and Shoto simultaneously got up and hurried towards him, the taller boy hugging his left, whilst the shorter went for his right, their forms similarly swaddled by the study group. We want to meet him too, you know, and I want you as a brother, the broader child admitted, his eyes tear-laced. I do too. Oh, and I really like your food, Shoni. The shortest acknowledged, his eyes screwed shut as he clung to him. I've never had cookies before. Carefully ruffling their hair, he pulled the two boys a little closer with a soft smile, his eyes once more locked with Fuyumi's. "Welcome to the Norineko family, all of you," he murmured. "We're beyond happy to have you with us." The rest of the afternoon flew by in a series of hugs, warmth, and affection. "Ma! Deku! Can you grab my sleeping bag too, please?" They'd laugh, they'd cry, they'd share photos, videos, and more. "You got it, Gachan! Oh no! Tsuchan? Do you need a hand?" Mirio, Eijiro, Hitoshi, and Natu, the little rascals, had reenacted the lead-up to the cat dance special to uproarious applause as the others filmed them. The oldest blonde and black-haired boys had played Todoroki Enji and Rapakendo, respectively, whilst the iris-haired Tot, through beautiful mimicry, played him as the shorter blonde very sagely, thoroughly embodied Kenji-san as he read the down to Mirio his rights perfectly after the other kids puppy-piled under the theatrically distraught Endeavor. The beagle-headed officer had howled with laughter when they sent in the footage, too.
I'm fine, thank you, Izu-chan. Eiji-chan, did you remember your favorite pillow, Gero?
He whipped up dinner for everyone, thanks to Nezu's generosity. The man had stocked the kitchen with all kinds of things. However, since it was the Todoroki family's favorite, there had been soba dishes all around.
"Oh, you better believe I did! Oi, Dicky! You brought the Captain Crimson movie, right?"
It had been wonderful to have virtually all of his loved ones together. "Of course I did! My dad also got us 3D glasses from his job so we can enjoy it properly, right, Dushi-kun?" Similarly, Atsuhiro and Mirai had arrived just in time. Sansa, who'd been with the family from the beginning, had had to say goodbye, and then as a group, they'd settled down to watch a few movies. Your dad is almost as amazing as you are, you know. Nato, do you need help bringing your futon into Shoto's room? He was so wonderfully domestic. He'd been cuddled up with Toshinori on one end of the sofa, with Dabi and Toma snuggled next to him, the younger lovers hosting Shoto and Natsuo, who'd sprawled over their legs, whilst the other tots crowded the rugs. "No, Kagoni's got it, but thanks." Then, as the evening rolled around, he and the other adults had helped the kids upstairs to sort out the sleepover arrangements. Fuyumi would enjoy Ryuko and Rumi's company in her room, the three of them giggling and chatting as though they'd known each other forever. Natsuo had Hawks, Tamaki, and Mirio crowded in his chamber, where Spinner and Tomura were already desperately trying to pull mock-snoozing Dabi off of the 3 futons he had claimed. The tots, however, had flooded Shoto's room, the youngest Todoroki bewilderedly excited by all of the fuss, whilst Mizuki, Rei, and Inko arranged themselves in the area which Nezu had made specifically for Enji's soon-to-be former wife. Then, with everyone hunkering down, Koji-san, the good man he was, had offered to drive Mimi-chan and her girls home, whilst he, Toshinori, Atsuhiro, and Mirai similarly bid them all good night. "See you all tomorrow at the cafe." "Night! We love you!" Waving at the kids and also saying their goodbyes to Nezu and the staff, the 4 of them walked through the summer bright evening and towards the employee car park. Once there, they'd exchanged hugs, and then he and his partner were soon on their way to the Norineko to relieve the local pros from cafe duty and thank them in person. "What a day, huh?" he murmured with a yawn, his head resting on his lover's shoulder whilst he cuddled into that warm side, his eyes lazily looking at the virtually empty highway that they drove down, the setting sun casting everything aglow. "You did marvelously, sweetheart," the older murmured lovingly. "At this rate, the PHSC will just give you a license," he chuckled as they turned off of the freeway, his smile softening further. Sorry, no more hero talk, I promise," he said, his tone a little sheepish. "I don't know why you're all so hell-bent on getting me signed up, you know." He huffed, his eyes falling closed. "I have the kids to think about. I don't want to put a target on my own back, let alone theirs." "Yes, I know. Plus, we don't get to see each other enough as it is," he continued, his lips passively forming a pout. "Me being a pro, even one not signed to an agency or anything, would eat up my Sundays and night times. And besides, we've done really well to keep what we have away from the media, haven't we?" He hummed. "Speaking of which, about our wedding. You've not changed your—" "No." He got it with a chuckle, the other's distraught tone tugging at his heartstrings, making him lean into him more, his hand squeezing the left one of his fiancée's since the other had wrapped an arm around him. No, I was just thinking. He smiled. How big do you want it? He furthered, his eyes absent-mindedly tracking the streetlights and buildings as they passed them. I don't want to deny you anything on our special day. He admitted, the other sighing in that soft, dreamy way that always made him melt. Captain, having you is more than I could ever ask for. He purred out, the car fluidly moving into the smaller roads which made up the area around his cafe. However, I was thinking that we could have the ceremony and honeymoon on Yakushima, our wedding held under the cedar trees. He offered, his words causing him to blink. Oh, yes. How could he have forgotten? Toshinori had showed him so many photos of the island, of his treks through those famous woods with Gran Torino and Shimuranana. Oh. Well, it'd certainly be private, but Toshi, that kind of money is... I can pay for everything, but you shouldn't have to. He insisted, his form sitting up a bit. We're partners, you and me. And I can't stand the thought of you having to shoulder all of the responsibility. For my boyhood dream of marrying the love of my life, and including all of our shared family, Shouta. The expense means nothing, the elder assured. To have all of you there for them to enjoy our special day, to walk Tomna through those cedars and tell him about his grandma, He breathed. Can't you see the kids running around in Yukata? Rei, Mitsuki, and Inko in the onsen with Nebutan and Tomo-chan. He hedged, his tone becoming more and more excited. Oh, and the food, kitten. Nothing can compare to yours, of course, but we get everything that want, need, and more. Plus, I really want to treat you. I want to share my favorite place with all of you, if you'd let me. Please. Pretty please? You're a menace. He sighed whilst leaning up to kiss his cheek. I'm your menace, the other corrected. So, is that a guess? It's a very strong maybe, he told him pointedly. Mirai's going to be furious if you don't let him help you out. And you need to think about the expense for Shield-san and Melissa. What? You'd accept David and Melissa-chan coming? Really? The blonde breathed, his tone a little broken as they pulled up next to curb outside of his eatery, his expression bewildered in a hopeful way that was filled with heartache. I'm not in the habit of saying things that I don't mean, am I? He told him, his expression softening. Melissa is a wonderful young woman. The tots talk about her all the time. She sends me letters every month, without fail. He chuckled. How could I not have your goddaughter at our wedding? And as for David, I couldn't invite one without the other. He shrugged. No, besides, if he'd like to come, then he's welcome. He grinned. Maybe we could help fix him up with someone. Chizome and Jin are quite starstruck by him, if I remember. Chuckling into the kiss that was consuming his lips and taking his breath, Shouta returned it with fervor, an actual giggle escaping him when the other brought him onto his lap. God, of all the ways that today could have ended, he couldn't think of a more perfect way if he tried. Introducing the younger Todorokis to Pocky, mochi, potato chips, and more westernized sweets shouldn't have been as much fun. What you call this? Strawberry milk? Wow, so good! It was approaching 10 p.m. now, their regular bedtimes. Thrown out of the window, all of the junior cafe leaguers were crowded into the wide corridor which adjoined the bedrooms on the second floor of the dorm room building, all decked out in their favorite pajamas. Not too old. Try these. They're watermelon sours. I think you're gonna love them. Even Mitsuki-san, Inko-san, and Rei-san had come out to join them, their fingers expertly combing various people's hair into ponytails, braids, and pigtails. Keigoni fawned over the treatment and virtually sighed into a puddle of contentment when the women gently started to comb through his feathers. Oh, my mouth is tingling. Shoto, Yumi, you've gotta have some. Rumini had whipped up face masks for them to try, Ryugoni had painted their nails, and Spinnerni had connected all of their devices. The three younger siblings had never owned phones, tablets, or MP3 players until Nezu had very kindly arranged for them to have some. Those cats. They were adorable. What are their names again? And as soon as he and Tomuni had cast their techno-wizardry upon them, the newest members of their family had cooed, gushed, and gasped over all of the photos, videos, and posts they created since they'd all come together with the Noroneko acting as an axis on which their social lives revolved around. Oh, what kind of food is that? It looks amazing. And you say Shoni makes it all from scratch? They'd shown them their ups and downs, the times they'd laughed, the times they'd cried. They'd introduced Melissa Shield, Shinso Kimiko, Kohaku-san, and Mai-san, the local pros who'd also be with them on Sunday, and the Fuchitas too. Little Kohana, 2 now and thriving, had babbled at them around the Papa Cookie when they'd taken a video of her with Spinnerknee's little sister and Sue's younger siblings. Whoa! Look at you guys! Your form is amazing! Showing off the self-defense lessons, too, had been a must. Miraiji had said that Shoto, Natsuo, and Fuyumi would need some time. However, they all might want to become heroes regardless of their father's influence, and should benefit from such training, so why not introduce them to the vast range of people who enjoyed Sony's tutelage? We will get to go to school with you, too. That'll be... I'm so... Hugging Shoto to him, his body releasing a little sigh when he surrendered and snuggled into him, Izuku couldn't dampen his smile. We'll get to do everything you want to do together, okay? He promised. But there's nothing wrong with wanting space. Wanting anything, you know? You get to make choices for yourself now, and we will support you however you need us to, alright? Listening to the other sniffle, that particularly hot, particularly cold form curling into him, the quirkless boy hugged him all the tighter. I'm so glad I got to be here to meet you today, he breathed. I'm glad too, the other whispered, a yawn stretching his lips. I don't want to sleep because this might be all a dream, but if I do sleep in this is real. I'll get to go to the Noraneko sooner, right? Ma, I kind of feel that way too, he admitted through a chuckle. But this is real, and it's fine if you want to sleep, okay? He murmured. I'll watch over you. I promise.